And we're live.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of From Lagos Journey from Lagos to Brooklyn.
You get tired already?
No, I'm hot. It's all the lights. I'm Donnatella. Welcome back to episode 4. I'm super excited to have you here today. You know my co-host,
The one and only Bub.
And today we're excited to have entrepreneur, music producer, bartender, Michael Butler, who I'm sure has a long repertoire of things that he'd like to add.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here with you guys.
Thank you. We're excited. I think it would be fair. We're just meeting. I would really like if you could kind of just let me know who you are, what you do, where I can find you, any important things that you'd like to share.
Okay. You got about 10 minutes? No, just kidding.
You do.
My name is Michael Butler. I hail from New Orleans originally, born and raised. Been in the restaurant business for over 23 years now, from the ground floor all the way up through general management, and am now in the process of opening a live music venue in Bed-Stuy, with restaurant and lounge, all designed by myself with my other partners. Obviously, COVID has put a little damper on that parade, but we're still moving on with everything as well as we can. I moved out to Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy 10 years ago to pursue a professional career in music, and had my own recording studio for 4 years. So I've gotten the chance and been able to, with much blessings and a lot of hard work, gotten to where I am, got to record a lot of platinum artists, work with a lot of people in and out the industry. I won't name some names because we got some projects coming out, but I'm also working on a live action comic that's coming out as well. It's going to talk about social and classism, as well as opening up our own music venue live, so which Bed-Stuy really hasn't had. And there's a lot of great music in Brooklyn, and the lack of venues are not here right now. And
That's even pre-COVID.
This was all pre-COVID. This has been 5 years in the making just to get this far,
That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, Mike, I invited you here today because we have a similar passion for this industry, and we're both very, very frustrated with what's going on, with the general feeling that it's okay for everyone else to open up except for restaurants. And their last line of defense is that you can't have a mask on while you're eating. However, once again, Westchester, block over from the Bronx,
Long
Island,
upstate New York,
neighbors, upstate New York,
New Jersey.
New Jersey's following New York City. They can all dine. They can go inside. I've been up there. I've dined inside of some of those restaurants. However, New York City residents don't have that option right now. So if a hurricane's come in, rain, thunder, hail, we just got to deal with being outside. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll speak first on since Como's talked about a scientific fact. So as of 8/24 this Monday, he had a press conference, and we've got a 0.66% infection rate in New York. That's going for 17 days straight, as well as only 5 deaths in New York. Now, I just came up from Niagara Falls because I did get married. So, they're open up to dining. Now, as somebody that owns a restaurant and has applied for a liquor license, we have to go through major hurdles just to prove that we're positive, good people that are able to even uphold these laws. Or it comes fallible to us, as also they can hold us for felony liability on this too, for other people. So if everybody else, we have the protocol, we have the things to follow. So why are we not? Museums are open. That's indoors. The Met's about to open this week.
Bowling alleys, which are allowed to serve food inside.
Exactly. Which they also make a lot of money on beer. When you go bowling, you drink beer.
Why do you think New York York City restaurants aren't allowed to open if other areas are?
That's actually the 100% perfect question to ask. There is no data to hold us back from that. Now, I understand that we are a large populace and stuff, but also understand that in the restaurant industry, we go through hurdles with health code, all this stuff. I worked in fine dining all the way to the lowest form of dining. Allow the professionals that you trust in, that you call us resilient, smart, the stuff that you've gave us these accolades and talk to us about, allow us to show you that we can do it. If someone is not following protocol, we check temperatures at the door. You're masked up coming in, see people away. Everything that's been asked for social distancing. What is the difference here?
We're not even given the opportunity to see what we can do. Like they're not even allowing us
exactly
an opportunity to make the system work.
And it's frustrating.
They just have a belief that it's going to fail. And however, other businesses are just not. Walmart didn't close 1 day, 1 minute, 1 second. And their lines
are ridiculous.
Yeah, there are people flooded in these supermarkets, in these restaurants, in these places, and they're allowed to do it. I just feel that, and of course, the owners are just getting richer. I think Bezos now is the richest man in the world. Yeah. Part of
200 million, 200 billion. I'm sorry,
yeah.
200 billion just hit a mark.
It's just really ridiculous what we're going through, and I think pressure is mounting. I think the association is starting to continue to ask those tough questions because it's only going to get colder from here on out, and they're even talking about closing dining, period for the year.
Yeah,
which is what are we going to do? How are we going to pay rent? What are our landlords going to do? What are our employees going to do? What is and that's the thing. You're not having the conversation. You're not planning. You don't have a plan in place. You're winging it. And that's my biggest problem, that they don't really have a plan. They just don't want to talk about it. They want it to go away. They want us not to ask questions.
Yeah.
But they don't have a plan in place for us.
Kids are in school. We're sending the kids back to school. How many kids? Come on. You got COVID now. How often is that going to happen? We were all kids, Oh, you got cooties, all that stuff. Kids are going to do it. They just know this now. So that would spread the infection rate. If they get it just because it doesn't affect them, they still carry that, correct? That's what we've been told. So how is bringing them back in a sec? Populace, which you're bringing people from all over. Most people go to restaurants, dine in their neighborhood. It's a community place. There are the big restaurants. You go out to the nice stuff. You make your reservations and whatnot. But even those people that eat within their proximity. So that's a question we're not talking about. Why do we not have these open conferences or Zoom calls with the State Department, with de Blasio as well?
Absolutely.
Cuomo's allowed it to go into phase 4. But the next step has to be made. So de Blasio has to talk about this more. This is his Manhattan. He wants to be mayor. So let's start opening it up a little bit here. We have the highest populace in Brooklyn. I understand. Now, I've lived in an area that had the highest infection rates. We wore masks. I rode trains every day back and forth, going up to East Harlem, all the way down to Kensington and Park Slope, bringing our daughter back and forth. During this, we've been tested. We aren't infected. Stay clean, and let's get the ball rolling. At least test it. At least give it a test.
There's also a whole subculture. We're talking security guards, promoters, flyer guys.
Yes.
That it looks like they're looking to ban these people. These people are not even going to be allowed to operate anymore within restaurants or bars. It looks like they're trying to eliminate bars.
No ticketed live events.
Live events.
No ticketed live events.
What is the purpose?
So let me tell you what I'm doing in my place. Pre-COVID, we already had it set up where a restaurant lounge on the bottom floor. Separate staircase that goes from outside that goes to second floor. Second floor, live music venue, dance floor, outside balcony. Third, VIP lounge, pool hall. Right, little bottle service.
Nice.
Now, everybody coming in, we're gonna scan them. We're gonna know who's in there, just like the gyms are. They're gonna have. If something breaks out, then we'll get it. A gym has got to be your most highest infection rate because it's just people spitting and sweating and running, gasping for air. but they're allowed to open. They're given the chance, and we're not. I mean, I've got $500,000
Doesn't make any
invested
sense.
in something. So do I get a rebate from that now? Absolutely not. You know, that's not going to come. Well, that's my growing pains. That's fine. I'm glad we didn't open before, and then we're forced to have to do outside dining because everybody's just fighting for a scrap for survival.
For survival.
You know,
Exactly.
we can put off stuff. I can work out deals. We've been able to do that and stay afloat and continue to build and progress it. You know, I've got a dumbwaiter design in my restaurant going the food directly up the dumbwaiter, covered food. Because you're only ordering there. And if you're at the concert venue, you'll have so much. You'll have to order and it'll be sent up and then it's dispersed. You know, only so many people. But you can still gather 20 to 50 people for weddings in an event. That's actually happening. That's in phase 3 and 4.
We're not. We're disallowing.
We can't charge for music, even if they're not even in the bar area. Go in, a concert's an hour to 2 hours long, and you go home. But movie theaters are going to open.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing to me. I'm like, you're trapped inside in recycled air in a closed environment. I don't care how far you
minimum 2 hours.
For minimal 2 hours. If you're not going for 3 hours, if it's a James Cameron film, you're done. You know, it's just these questions that are there, and we're not having a conversation about it, and it's affecting the small business. And honestly, most people make their money off of small businesses.
Right.
It's a small business. You know, that is the actual trickle down of the economy.
I want you to. We talked briefly prior to us going live about the Fed and interest rates and what's going on in that world as we're talking about the economy and how it's going to be affecting us right now.
Yeah, I mean, so the way I see it, because I've taken this little part break to just view everything I've been studying for years. I am no financial advisor.
That's what's great about our show. It's real people talking about issues that affect us. Real people. It's for our level of understanding. You know.
Yeah.
That's
so no
where
one
we
can
like
hold
it.
us liable.
Absolutely.
So I did take some notes because I like to be factual in what I speak.
Absolutely.
And held accountable for that. So I mean, the Fed unveiled a new inflation approach today. Now, I've got this feeling like we're going back to the 80s. Like now we went through a high inflation rate and then we had to bring it back down.
Okay.
All right. Because we're like a boom or bust economy. That's how this economy works. You're feasting or you're famine, you know? So right now,
what would you say are feasting? Tech stocks, the tech economy.
Yeah, I think tech is
and shopping.
Tech and everything that can be away from people. You know, e-commerce is obviously your best bet to go into things. People need supplies. Right. They don't want to go out if they don't have to. It just makes sense to me. But let's see. They did come out today in the Fed said that interest rates to remain low. They may tolerate up to 2% if employment goes back up, and that's a norm, but that's a slow rate. Right now we're at 0.9% as of now. For inflation, right? Of the Fed putting the rates on, because we're still in this recession. We have not come out of this recession that we've been in since Bush and Obama. Like we just lowered the rates. Now the problem with the lowering of the rates is once you go so low, then you run into problems like the EU has and Japan has, right? So we have so much supply, but we don't have industrialism here. No. Industrialism, I feel like Texas is going. I know FedEx routes are expanding routes in FedEx. Arlington, if you look at price rates going up and stuff, Texas is going to have 3 of the highest places to live in the States. Plano, Texas, Arlington, Texas. These are also routes that FedEx are looking at, which FedEx also signed a contract with USPS to help them get rid of, move their mail. So with that, I kind of look at that and I'm like, all right, so that means Texas is building industry. They have the room to build industry. New York has the room to build industry here. New Jersey has the room to build industry. Now we can't go all out and just burn out the environment, but we're smarter about it now. I feel like people want to be green. Like I'm not a big fan of like the green plan as much because it holds us liable and we don't know how we're getting there. You know what I'm saying? Like I like the map out of it. I like the outline of it and let's try to get there. But it also, the economy relies on a lot of this. The economy relies on oil. The economy relies. I mean, you get wind turbines, but what happens to the turbines once they burn out? They go in a landfill. So is it really cost effective? I mean, most of our energy comes from hydroelectrical dams. So, I mean, just went up the whole Hudson Valley, up to Niagara Falls, all the way up to the Hoover Dam. That's most of our energy comes from that. So I think that's more to invest in. It costs money to get it up and rolling, but once it's going, you just keep it up. and it's nature, you know.
So
But
where do you think we're heading right now, considering Trump and Biden? As looking at the way the economy is set up, what candidate do you think will be better suited to lead us forward?
oh, this is a huge thing. I think neither nor. I'm in that category. Unfortunately, I know we're in this the lesser of two evils, which is unfortunate that we're even here. It's like I go up against people that have better resumes as bartenders and people that are running the country. It's harder for me in a private sector or a smaller sector to get a job in a booming economy than it is to become a leader of this country. And that's kind of
Scary.
yeah, that is very scary right now. What I would really like is I feel like the small business entrepreneurs, and I've discussed this a little bit with you, but I think the small business entrepreneurs actually need to defect and go to a third party. There's a lot of people that aren't happy with the DNC because they're not held accountable for their actions, but they got your vote. That's the way they look at it. We've seen this with Biden. We've seen this with the talks. I mean, if you were to talk about Biden and Biden's history, I mean, he's got way more of a Republican against crime than he is like a Democrat against it. So you're coming into this disenfranchisation of both parties, but you got people hanging on because they don't believe in that third party. Well, if all the small businesses, entrepreneurs come out, or the Black Caucus leaves, and we form a third party, that's 20-30% of the vote. Now it's a viable candidate. Now you can talk about running somebody to get electoral votes. Now you can talk about a stalemate on electoral votes and not getting enough electoral votes. It makes them have to deal with us. Is small businesses. The lobbyism is obviously wrong,
Well, let me ask you, why do you
That's a
think
whole nother
that?
ball.
Why did you think that? What's his name? Bernie didn't just go third party. Why did he become a Democrat?
Because I don't think he gets that move. Because everybody's like, third party, what a waste. Why you waste it?
If
Why
I
you
was
criticize
Bernie,
for voting who's
I
got
would
integrity?
try it. If I was Bernie, to be honest with you, I mean, he has so many followers.
I feel like now he's kind of past the cusp. This was his time.
No, it was. Yeah, he blew
now
it. He
it's
went Democrat.
Past,
He blew it. And they clearly didn't want him.
No.
He chose to go in a party that they didn't want him representing them. So he should have went on his own from get go. The way I look at it.
Yeah,
now it could have helped Trump, but at the end of the day, like you said, a lot of us are disenfranchised because Democrats have policies that don't necessarily support entrepreneurship, small business owners. But at the same time, who wants to hang out with the racist Republicans? So, you have a bunch of people that really have nowhere to go. So they just, like you say, cling on, and just close their eyes or close their nose and vote, for the lesser of two evils, just to cast that vote. But, there has to be a better way forward. And I think that third party is it. But I think we need maybe it'll be AOC. Maybe in the next round, we can encourage someone that has a voice and a platform to start going, to break away. Because at the end of the day, why is AOC a Democrat? They don't really like her either. She doesn't.
She doesn't want to play ball with the fat pigs.
She doesn't want to play ball. So why even be in there? Start your own party.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will follow.
It's like a bad word, third party, and it's not. I mean, we haven't had one. It's Bull Moose Party. I mean, what is this?
Ross Perot.
Ross Perot turned the tide of election with what 8%, 10% thing.
Yeah.
Let Clinton get in there. I mean, I'm not an ultra progressive. I'm not a far right Republican. I feel like we got to be equally yoked. Where's the moderatism in here? Where's the best? Where's the best ideas from both sides? And how do we come together to take the best of our ideas? And that's what we have to do as humans too. But one side is like, you can't make money. You can't work for yourself. The other side is watch out because everybody's going to become communist. Yeah. We're not going to turn into communists in this country. Exactly. It's not going to happen.
It's extreme on both sides.
Yeah.
It's extreme. And it's not helping it's not helping the country move forward.
No.
Other countries are advancing. We're spending too much time talking about race, talking about politics,
incarcerations,
talking about incarcerations, and no one is developing. No one is working. No one is creating. Because we have so much unrest and destabilization. You know, it's not allowing this country to grow, and people need to think about that. Like, let's cut it out. You know, like with the police thing, let's cut it out.
Why are we 17th in education in the world?
We
Education is
have
a
all the
business to
resources,
get you in debt. That's about it.
you know, to educate people, and there's no excuse for that. You know, we have the technology, we have Wi-Fi, we have Light 24, all the things that would get in the way of a kid being able to get a solid education. We don't have those problems here. It's just a lack of effort, or
Yeah.
a lack of proper planning. You
They
know,
don't have to. They're not held accountable.
they're
That's
not.
the problem.
They're not. They're
No one's
not.
held accountable.
So many different schools offering different forms of curriculum, um, kids without books, not to mention the arts that they've taken out of school. I played the
Donatella,
clarinet.
so that's a great point you made. Is that helping us as a society? The fact that we are so diverse, like everyone now gets to do whatever they want.
and
You
and
know?
that's
Is
not
that better for us,
no, well,
or
I
is
wasn't
it?
focusing on diversity. I was basically talking about the bad education curriculum that's available in certain demographics versus what's available to someone else. The fact that I think the running percent usually is, even when you're thinking about extracurricular classes, like 60% of people of color or kids don't know how to swim,
Yeah.
right? And so you have some schools that have these programs where you can do arts and crafts. There's a couple of schools in Brooklyn that have culinary
Mhm.
added to their schools. One of the things that I wanted to see implemented is a information systems kind of curriculum. Like these kids today are being handed iPads and iPhones as children. They have so much power and technology in their hand, but there isn't a curriculum in the elementary and the high schools to prepare them to use it. So you have all these kids taking pictures and throwing gang signs and saying, well, I'm not in a gang. And, one day they're going to grow up and be 18, 19. And when you Google their name, their footprint in social media, they're going to be unemployable, right? So that's what I was talking about. It depends on where you go to school. I mean, I don't have kids, but I hear some of my friends arguing over applying for this school, and you got to do it early, and maybe you get accepted. But one of the things I want to go back to what you're saying and talking about kids in school and COVID. And even though I don't have children, I'm very concerned with the fact that we're now talking about outside learning, right? So recently there was a mother of three, I think it was closer to the Bronx, that was shot and killed by a stray bullet. That the principals in that district, I think that was District 7, wrote a letter and said, we cannot have outside schooling. Our kids, there's shootings here every
They
day.
need to be protected.
Right. And so there's that. And then, we have pedophiles. People act like the pedophiles just went away. You have people who prey on kids. And so if you take kids outside now, and it's, what month is this? August? Then it's September. When does the weather change? Like October?
October, November.
Yeah. I saw them. They were talking about having heated tents and the kids going to school outside. So what does that mean? Where do kids go to the bathroom? They're going to have porta johns outside for kids?
Look, and this is what I'm talking about. This, look, and this is not to diminish. I certainly can't diminish how serious COVID is, but we're at the point where we're just completely overreacting with everything. Like, it's overboard. It's ridiculous what we're doing. I've gone out there from every day. Like you said, you had to ride the train. You do what you got to do to protect yourself, and you live your life. You get sick, you go to, you treat it.
Yeah.
Like, disease is not going anywhere.
No, it never does.
It's never gonna stop. They're treating this thing like we're gonna eliminate we may never eliminate
I
this
feel
thing
like the problem's
completely.
been. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's been a lot of, like, we have so many lines of information coming out, and there's so much more misinformation
Absolutely.
than there was actual
They're playing
information.
politics with
In the
people's
beginning,
health.
in the beginning, no one did. Yeah, that's what's ridiculous. Like, if everybody just got together, we could have stamped on this, been on this from the get-go, and it would be squashed by now.
We get all on
you
the
know?
same page. There's no
We would've
reason why
educated
you
ourselves
have
on it.
people, these Republicans, anti-mask. Like, that is so ridiculous. You can't be
'Cause that was
just
the
if you don't
that
want to
was the
wear it,
delay.
don't wear. But this whole like women will walk up to you in the store and start challenging you if you don't have a mask. Why?
Yeah.
Just because Trump said you shouldn't wear it, like what? And that's what happens when you have a leader that no one believes in. He's politicized everything. That real information, real things that can help people don't take it seriously to the point that they're laughing in the face of real science. If they're telling you you keep a mask on, it keeps the next person from getting whatever you have. It keeps that thing in you.
And that's
That alone
yeah.
is half the job. That alone.
Well,
This is
I mean,
irresponsible. There's nothing
there's
wrong with
flat
going out
earthers
there.
out there. So I mean,
Yeah,
there's
there's
still
nothing.
people that believe in flat Earth. I mean, that's like I don't know what's going on. I'm not trying to break the point of what you're saying. I'm just like, there is that faction. And you know what? I mean, the good and bad of technology is everyone has a voice and they can get out there easily. Yeah. But you have to educate and filter your stuff. You have to filter your news. You got to learn that, okay, this guy is on this side of the fence. So, I can take two different articles. If I go CNN and Fox News, they both spun it two totally different ways to produce fear, because we're conditioned with fear. And they know that. That's the greatest weapon ever, has been fear. Fear of this community over that community. These people are going to take your stuff.
What is the advantage of continuing this disunity? What are they getting out of? Like, who is this helping at the end of the day? Because somebody got to be making, like, there got to be a reason why they, other than just pure hatred. But
I think
what are they getting out of this?
Of the dissension, the social unrest?
Absolutely.
Well, I think some people really believe in what it is they're doing.
They get to maintain power. Both parties, either way, win. They are conjoined at the hip. No matter what, either they win in 4, they win in 8, but they still maintain the same power. Hence the third party. That's why I'm such a big third party viable person.
Okay, now I'll flip that into this. What we're talking about. A man is moving away from the cops, going to his car to get in his car and get away. Cop decides to shoot him 7 times.
That's a big topic. That's a big topic. And the two ways to look at it.
Tell me what the other way to look at it is.
I'm gonna say, because I know in our second half.
Look, you act like I'm beating you or something. You're like
no. Well, because there's one question that I wanted to make sure I got to Michael, and if we're following our time,
let's go.
That's supposed to be in our second half. But one of the things that I think will bring a lot of what we talked about full circle, which our viewers wouldn't be aware of, was one of the questions that I had regarding, trying to raise an African-American family in a time where there is so much social unrest, and you have an interracial family. And I think that's a point on our platform that I want to make sure gets voiced, because it also puts your perspective into view for the viewers who are looking, who don't know you personally.
Yeah. I mean, I have to actually view both sides of the platform, because people grow up on two different sides. Mm-hmm. I was a kid that grew up in the middle of all of it. I'm just in New Orleans. I was in a predominantly African-American neighborhood, through stuff. So I've seen both sides of it, but I also was able, my father worked, he threw newspapers, he put us in private school. So I've seen that side of it too. Right. And it got me so far. Now, there's two sides to every story. Now, what we need to stop doing is understanding why this is happening. And I believe that's the issue that everybody wants to cause. Why is this continuously to happen? Do we not have new training protocol? Do we not, have, come on, ex-military, there's integrity. You're held liable. There's rules of engagement. Is that not rules of engagement in that? I don't know. I'm not a trained police officer. I haven't had that. Right. But I remember as a kid, even in the neighborhoods, we knew who the police officers were. They worked the beats. They were part of the community. Yes, I like that now. After Katrina, everything, my community was a little different. It was separated. Then as I got older, I moved out to the suburbs. So then I was like, whoa, what's going on here? When I'm like really 13, 12. Yeah, it's a whole different environment for me. And then I'm back here and I'm in Bed-Stuy, 10 years and after. It's very difficult. One, you have to educate yourself, because I also have people, and my daughter, I have a stepson as well, and they should know their culture. And that's on me to educate myself, not on you guys to educate me on that. This is history. There's stuff there for it, And I think a lot of people need to break their norm, of what they're comfortable with, become uncomfortable. If there's something you don't understand, don't react in fear and anger, but educate yourself. Understand how they see it. Understand what they've been through. And unfortunately, I can never understand that side of the coin that you've went through, because you can call me a cracker and it doesn't affect me in the same way as the vice versa on the other end.
Right.
I haven't been. There's a whole thing. We say white, we say black. These are derogatory terms we use all the time. We need a total change of vocabulary. We need to educate ourselves on where this is going, where this goes. I mean, we used to hail where we're from. Now we're not.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. I mean, ask me anything.
While we have
but,
you here, I want to dive a little deeper, right? As a white man, right? Are you aware that sometimes when a black person may just enter a room, there are people, white people, that will immediately become angry. They will turn red. They will get angry. Have you ever felt like, can you describe that? Or has anyone that acts like that ever expressed what is going on? Because I think that's the root cause of the reason why I feel a need to kill this guy, even though I don't know him. He's not really threatening me at this point, but I could probably get away with it. But let me just kill. What is the emotion that's in that person that makes you hate someone without even knowing them? Like, have you ever come across? I know you've been around black people all your life. You've worked with me. We've worked together. So we're beyond that. So it's you only because maybe you may have been in an environment, that because I'm never really in those environments. I kind of create my own little cocoon, my safe bubble, but you're out of the bubble. You can enter into any world. What is your take on that? Because you clearly see it sometimes. Like someone would see that
definitely.
and will immediately start giving excuses for the police. Well, maybe you don't know the whole, who even processes like that if you don't have a underlying prejudice against a people? And why is that? What is the root of that? What have these people done to you personally? Why you hate them so much? So,
I mean, honestly, I think it's programming from a young age. I mean, there's a reason there's urban, there's a reason there's suburbs. Those were built as bubbles away from each other to control those environments. Once you're in control of those environments, you can do. I mean, this is a very long philosophical question that goes on for years and years and years. Now, my superpower is I clean up well. Okay, I clean up well. So I've also been on the other side of the curtain with these people that say things that I'm uncomfortable with. And I'm like,
what's up?
Yeah, like my daughter's black. These questions, so people feel comfortable around this situation. I mean, that is for defense mechanisms of way long time ago when we're around, hangs around, you see that in animals, whatever. Yeah. All right. Now that's old behavior. I'm not putting it off on that at all. But
I mean, it's
loathing of something they see or want or not understanding. And instead of making the break to break that cycle or what they've been told, they just accept it. They're programmed. I mean, honestly, I think people are just way more programmed than they're not. I've had to break down programming and come back and say what's right and wrong in my own life, I mean, I grew up in the 80s. You're talking Lakers, Celtics, the black team, the white team.
Right,
They're both equally great. They're both amazing teams. but it was like the two styles, the different styles, and that defined people in this country. And why did that define people? Why was all the white people pulling for the white team and all the black people pulling for the black team? How does that come in? How does that come into play? That's questions that, I can't. I feel sorry for those people that don't acknowledge it. And I feel like everybody's so used to their way of life. And I believe they feel like people want to take that from them. And that's not what anyone wants to do. They just want to experience that comfortability as well.
So I think I'm understanding what you're saying to be a similar problem to what we go through. It's the same propaganda. The same people that are running the show create fear and make you believe these things and fuel these things.
On the other side,
the president
everybody would say reverse racism, all that, whatever. We could get into definitions and all. But, I've definitely been in rooms, before, and it looks the opposite way because I'm that guy or that token or whatever. Once you get to know people and you're like, oh, he's a good guy. It's the same conversation from both sides of the table. And are we that far? I don't believe so, but I think it's conditioning. And we need to understand that and understand that these people feed us fear because that's what they strive off of.
That's what they strive off.
That's the only power they have
left.
left.
I think that is the way to address race in America. I think we have to look at the history of it because this has really been a campaign to keep us at war.
Of course, 100%.
Because it doesn't have to be that way. It does. We're all human beings. We all bleed the same. It does not have. This is an effort to keep us fighting each other, and the propaganda is going one way, and it's coming another way to us, in a way that is going to keep us. And now, it's so bad, where a 17-year-old kid is arming himself with rifles to go shoot protesters.
That his mother's driving him to.
His mother
is that the definition of insanity? Like, have we just lost all hope?
And it's now even bigger than race because it's now if you support black people, I'm gonna kill you too, because he shot 2 white guys.
This
he killed a white man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you have what are those people doing? This guy was a martyr. He's not even black. He's out there protesting, saying, you know what? We want to live in a society that's better than this. And as a white man, I'm gonna go out there and show my solidarity and show my compassion for what's going on. And this young thug kills him, shoots him right in the head, ends his life. Because he's not the same kind of racist pig that he is. He wants to have compassion for the other side. So I got to kill this man. And then he goes in, and then the police just conveniently, no, they offered him water. They're actually coordinating. Listen, we're going to drive them to you. You guys handle them. You see all these things on the recording. Like, what's going on in this country? Why are the police killing us? What did we do to police?
So that's a huge question. And I know we're in the middle of a deep discussion. I would love to have Michael come back, but we also need to have time for
Mr. Gordon.
Mr. Gordon.
Professor Gordon.
Yes, who actually just walked outside. And I don't know if it's because we were starting to go in our topic. So we're going to take a little 5-minute break to end session 1, and we'll be back for session 2.
Thank Mr. Butler.
Well, thank you all very much. Thank you, Donnatella. Thank you, Bub.
We love to have you back, as we do all our guests,
Most definitely.
As we continue to
we can
grow,
continue this talk longer, because this talk is a never-ending talk.
It's a never-ending story. People are looking for a side to ride on. People are looking for allies. They're looking for a friend. Everyone's looking for a friend. Oh, I thought that same thing. People are looking. So conversation is good because
it's the starting
people
point.
Can identify with it.
It's the starting point.
Absolutely. So we'll be right back. Take it easy.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Woo! That was an exciting conversation.
I'm sorry we had to finish it. Cut it short. But we'll be back.
So, welcome to the second half of Journey from Lagos to Brooklyn. Donnatella Bub, and now, as you can see, Peter Gordon has joined us for the second half. And I'm really excited. I don't know which topic we're going to start with. Maybe I'll
let's just start by saying that the Boston Celtics weren't shit until Bill Walton came on board. Now let's get on. Let's do another
Wait,
topic.
you said the Baltimore Celtics weren't shit till Bill Walton.
Till Bill Walton
that
came
was,
on.
You see those years. The funny thing is that I was in Nigeria from 1980 pretty much to 1990, so I missed the 80s in America. The 80s in America for me was summer vacation, coming to visit. From whatever those 2 months are, buying up sneakers and taping Hot 97. No, it was 98.7 and WBLS.
And WBLS.
So I'll be taping
Frankie
mixes.
Crocker.
Had my cassettes, tape. For all the new songs for the year.
It was so much more than that, Bob.
Yeah.
That's all. That was my 80s. And Michael Jackson,
Bird.
of course.
Oh, Michael Jackson, yeah. But I grew up with the Celtics against the Lakers, like the real basketball players.
So I missed all of that. I came at the end when the Pistons came and knocked both of them out.
So this is a nice segue into the what's going on now with basketball and NBA and the refusal to play because of what's going on. And I think that is about time because people are going to pay attention to this.
Oh, they definitely have everyone's attention.
Okay, the talent that we contribute to professional sports. It is time that we leverage that against certain demands.
Absolutely. I think, and it's in stages. You see the growth. 4 years ago, like they said to the day yesterday, was the first time, was the first moment Colin Kaepernick took a knee.
Was that? Yeah, I didn't know.
4 years ago yesterday.
That's the significance
So
of the
you
baseball
see,
player.
yes, you see the mat. You see how this has grown.
Yeah.
Even you see the NFL and its leadership. You know, the stances they are. Even Jerry Jones. You know, who would ever think he would, allow people to kneel? You know, it was such the most disrespectful thing. But
well, that's a money thing. I mean, he's not down with the movement. He wants to continue to make money.
He's his base. And what I want to see is demands. Like, we're not playing until, just like when they go in and the Players Associate Union and they negotiate their deals with the owners, they make demands.
Sure.
I think what we want now are for them. The next step is to say, listen, we are not doing XYZ until this is done.
Yeah, but
because sitting out a game is wonderful. It's a great gesture, and the NBA will support it. And they got on a call and they spoke to the lieutenant governor and they were able to release the name of the officer that shot Jacob Blake. However, we need demands.
Yeah, but I think
reform.
We do, but with the playoffs, I think it was only the Lakers and the Clippers that decided not to go on, but the rest of the teams, because what was it, like $200 million was invested in the bubble in order to form that?
All of them are gonna go on. Yes, at the time, LeBron and the who represents the Lakers and leadership of the Clippers, yes, they did walk out of the meeting and said they are not playing anymore. But I guarantee you, when they do get, because look, they took off today again. When they do come back, everyone is coming back. Trust me. LeBron will be part of it.
Okay, so why would we come back? I mean, because if you look at professional sports, I think it is a microcosm of life,
but that's
of
exactly
existence, right?
My point. That we need to make demands.
Until they what is professional sports without the godlike talent of the black player?
Yeah, so it was LeBron who I think still said he didn't want to be involved. Today, tennis star Naomi Osaka joined the boycott. I don't think. I mean, for me, I thought the whole reason why the president was pushing "let's bring back the sports" is a diversion to make people feel like they're happy to positively impact him when he goes for the election. So he can say that he brought the city open back up. People are making money. Kids are going to school. Sports are back.
That's possible.
The biggest thing that drives sports is the money being made in sports.
Right.
The owners are making money. The players are making money, and there's a whole subculture of gamblers.
Yeah, but that's not the point that I'm making.
That's what I'm saying is that's why we have sports. It's not. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump wanting credit. He's not going to get it.
But he's already gotten it.
No, he's not. He's not getting credit.
It depends on who you ask.
No, he's already got
for bringing sports back.
For the person
he doesn't like black players.
It doesn't matter. So it's just like anything else he promotes. He's not thinking about us when he does it. If you watch the RNC, and I talked to quite a few friends who said, I'm not watching them. They're idiots. Yeah, but you're not watching it is not helping talk to the person who's of color, who doesn't understand it. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. You have to watch them in order to educate other people. Because if you watch the RNC, they paraded us like we were show ponies, if you ask me. Night one, there were so many people of color. I didn't even know they were Republican that spoke on behalf of the president. Night two, I think I still disagree. I don't need to watch it. But how can y'all can watch it? No, I don't have a problem with you watching it. No, but how can you influence someone about the ignorance if you don't know what the ignorance is? What do you mean? How can you say I don't know what the ignorance is? I know what the ignorance is. So, I see it every day. I know what they're about. No.
I know what they're gonna say.
So, Bub, if you want to watch news, how can you just watch
One
one aspect of the news? How can you just
I
wait?
know- okay,
How can
go
you
ahead.
just watch CNN? Right?
I don't just watch CNN.
Okay, because you have to watch the spectrum. You have to watch CNN. You have to watch Fox. The most extreme on both ends. CNN is the worst, if you ask me.
Look.
The fear and the bullshit that they spew is exactly identical to Fox. All right,
It's different.
somewhere if
It's
you watch
different.
if you watch one end of the
different.
spectrum and you watch the
CNN
other,
is slick. That's what probably makes it worse because CNN
That's
is
worse.
slick.
that's worse.
Like there's, I wish I wrote it down. Like when they're describing what happened, they will use words that will show you what they really believe.
Right.
Yeah.
That if you're not paying attention, you see, but they speak in code.
Sure.
CNN speak, so what I'm saying is,
So we're not
I'm
getting
not
the
saying
truth.
I watch CNN. I'm not saying
Wait,
I watch.
Bob, somewhere
see
between
all
the
of it.
spectrum, you're getting the. You have to. You as the
No,
educated listener.
there's no truth coming from the far right.
Right.
Period.
That's why you have to see
Period.
both ends and
But
then
this is
come
what
up
I'm
with your
saying.
own truth.
But you see, I have people that write about the far right that will tell me what they say.
Yeah,
I
but
don't need to watch them.
But
I have people that will write what they say.
Yeah, but,
But what is so
still getting
offensive?
You're still getting their
I don't.
interpretation.
It's not. It has nothing to
Right.
do with me being offensive. I'm just not gonna waste my precious time
All right.
watching that garbage.
No.
That's
so,
all.
right,
I'm
so
gonna
But
do
that's
something
part of
else.
Bob. You got to see that that's part of the problem.
No,
You're
I
our
got-
whoa.
no,
Our
go ahead.
inability to acknowledge or even entertain the other side is part of the problem on both sides.
How
So
is
wait,
it?
wait.
How is it?
Okay. So when Obama was in office,
Uh-huh.
right? They didn't put anything through that he wanted through the Senate, right? They don't
Yes.
want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. Now, when Trump is the Democrats are doing the same thing. They shut him down. Our elected officials, our elected black
Democrats
officials
don't have the power to shut nothing down.
but wait, let me just finish my point. Our elected officials, our black elected officials, didn't even go to his inauguration. Now,
Right.
I wouldn't go either.
if I voted for you, who gave you the right to sit out and snub the sitting president? The Jews don't
Because
like
he's
him.
he's
Jews don't
terrible.
like him. Homosexuals don't like him. Hispanics don't like him. But guess what? They have their people lined up to advocate for services and funding for their communities,
Right.
for future generations.
But that's like
we're
saying,
the only ones
that's like
that
saying
we're
it's
the
okay
only
to
ones
be a
that
panderer.
we are the only ones that take a emotional. We do emotional politics. Oh, he's racist, so I don't want to talk to him. What president wasn't racist? Name a president
But
that was not racist.
Okay,
And
but
if you say Obama, I'm going to show you that Obama put through
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
why
racist.
I get this argument. Y'all think I like Obama?
His,
I don't
his
even like
policies
Obama.
his
I
policies
don't
were
like Obama.
racist.
I never liked Obama.
I did.
I liked him when I voted for
I
him.
like him,
Before
but
he became, he went in
he
office.
didn't do shit for us.
And people just kept saying, "Give him a chance, give him a chance," and we gave him 8 years of chances, and I never saw anything constructive. Obama never looked me in the face as a black man and said, "Listen, I got your back,"
Never.
or I have a conversation. What he did was talk down to me.
Mhm.
He told me he was disappointed. He had the nerve to tell me how disappointed he is in us, but he offered us no olive branch, no lifeline,
And you
no
realize,
support.
But you realize, okay, I'm gonna give you an
None.
example.
But I don't want to talk about Obama.
No, I'm not talking about Obama. But even with what's going on right now with the RNC, I spoke to some 30-something-year-old men who reside in Atlanta, and I was so upset on their social media. I saw them giving accolades to President Trump, and so I replied, and I was like, "Wait."
Because they were watching that stupid ass thing you were telling them to watch.
This wasn't the
That
RNC.
propaganda
This
works,
wasn't
you know.
No, this wasn't the RNC. The reason why I feel like you should watch the RNC is because when you talk to some of us, right, who are saying, I think his comment was, the reason why I'm voting for Trump is because he's the first in the White House. He does whatever he wants. He puts through things. And
How
how
does that?
Let me finish. He said he's the first president to put money in the poor people's pocket. So the poor people, and I'm
And
not
I
saying
have
I'm
to
not
watch the
poor.
convention
So-
to rebut that. That's what you're saying.
But what
I
I'm saying
don't.
to you is you can't have an educated conversation.
I
if you
can't.
don't see
Stop
the-
saying I
You
can't.
cannot,
y'all.
Bob. You cannot.
I can't.
When did
You cannot.
Tim Scott
I
Bush
can't.
doing
I
his
don't
stuff?
care.
But
Bullshit.
that's the point.
No, I don't. We don't need
That's the
Tim
point.
Scott. He's not
Tim
important.
But
He is not important.
He is. If
He will never do. He will never do anything for you. Tim Scott
I'm
will
not
never.
I'm not
So
arguing that.
what is the point?
The point is you cannot have an educated conversation.
Why
with
not?
us who listen to him and believe in him if you can't.
Okay, let's
listen to
discuss
what he
Tim
says.
Scott's ideas now. Oh yeah, let's
That's
discuss.
not what I'm saying.
Tell me what did you learn from Tim
Bob,
Scott?
you're taking this.
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not, because you guys are saying
You're
I can't
acting
do
like
something.
a Democrat. Right
I'm not.
now,
Maybe I am actually. I'm registered Democrat.
I am
But
too.
tell me
What
did you gain from watching Tim Scott?
It's not about what I gain because I'm not Republican. I'm not voting.
But
for
you
Trump.
tell me I can't have an intelligent
But
conversation because I didn't watch the stupid ass Republican
You
conventions.
can't talk to anyone about the RNC if you didn't watch
I don't
it.
want to talk about it. Why do I
That's
want
the
to talk
point.
about
But
it?
that's the
What is
point.
there to talk about? What is there to talk
I
about?
love this show.
You want
Don't
to
love
vote
this?
for a Republican?
That's my point.
You're a jackass. Okay, next.
No, but see,
But
you can't
say
make
to
that
us.
claim, Bob.
I will.
All right, so listen,
And they
let's-
won't like it,
let's
and that's
kinda-
fine.
let-
That's my opinion.
Let's kind of divert. Okay, you see why I'm not mad at Trump, right?
Why are you not?
Because of what's going on now. It has to get to this point. It has to come to a head, Bob. You cannot talk about progression for Black people, and we're still engaged in the same old, same old. Bob, let me
It's not a
finish.
Trump problem.
No, but we were fooled into thinking that we're living in a post-racist society, and we are not. And Trump brought that to the forefront. Is he racist? Absolutely. Who else? What other? Name a president that wasn't. Did you name me that? And I'll stop.
He's just extreme with your face.
What I'm saying? Go ahead.
My point with the RNC, I watched it with someone else. I watched it with an African, right? And he laughed. He didn't want to watch it either. And I said, "No, you're going to watch it with me." And every other word out of one of the people's face, he started laughing. He said, "This is ridiculous." So Trump used the White House, which is the first time ever, right, during political measures.
That's a problem,
right? And then you had the first lady in the Rose Garden in what looked like a military outfit to me. And if you watched her, I felt like she was so afraid that she was going to be accused of stealing another one of Michelle's speeches.
Right.
That if you watched her eyes, she was literally talking like this, and the president.
That's called when you cram something and try to spit it out.
Well, it was terrible. But they paraded people of color like it was an exhibit.
But I got to tell you, Donnatella, it was way more interesting than the DNC.
Okay, let me say one thing.
To me.
Well, the DNC, I'm sorry, Biden, I am going to vote for you. But I don't know what kind of social distancing announcement of his election. And I think I saw someone said it looked like he was in the basement library. And I mean, it just, the cinematography of it was terrible, but that's not my point. My point with the RNC
Guess what, guys? I didn't watch the DNC either, okay? So don't kill me. I didn't watch the DNC either. Not 1 minute of it.
How do you?
Okay, so that's why I said, don't tell me I can't do something. That's my only argument. You may say, Bob, you should be watching. You don't say that.
But you can't talk. Okay, you can't talk about that event. I didn't say you can't talk about.
There you go. You
thing.
say I can't talk to a Trump supporter or someone that watches.
No, I'm not worried about the Trump supporter. I'm worried about us that's teetering on the line who have associated the Republicans with the fact that they got that stimulus payment, the extra money in their unemployment. And that was the point of these guys. It's the first time that the working poor people finally got money from someone. And those are the votes that I'm worried about.
And I don't need to watch the RNC to tell them they don't need to vote for Trump.
Okay.
Just because they got stimulus money.
Yeah, but that's how they're equated.
This society is completely crumbling. The United States of America is completely falling apart.
So how do you justify voting? How do you justify voting? Do you see what's happening in the streets? Do you see what happened in Wisconsin? How is voting for Biden or the Democrats going to change that in any normal time in real time? It cannot.
Let me explain how it could change it. Okay.
Bob, oh God, I don't want to hear
how
it.
I can change it?
Yes, your turn.
Because Joe Biden can have an attorney general, right, that puts out a memorandum that if police shoot unarmed citizens,
don't say citizens,
right,
because then that
they
means
will be personally
other people get shot.
be held liable.
Why would he do that?
Why wouldn't he do that? It's a conviction. That's
He
what I'm
has
saying.
wait. He has spent his entire 47 years in Congress.
Joe Biden is not the AG. I said he will elect someone.
He has spent his
it's up to the
entire
AG.
political career,
Mhm.
right, putting his foot in our neck.
No.
Yes, he has.
Let me tell you, Joe
Why
Biden
do you think
is a
now he's going
politician.
to change?
Because
gonna
Joe
change now?
Biden is a career politician
That has done what for you?
What he does, what Joe Biden does, is look at what the most popular position or opinion. He's Mr.
And you're
Anyway
okay with
to
that?
win.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that more over Trump.
That's a problem.
No, it's not.
Because we're voting.
You gotta pick one person.
We have become.
You have to pick
black
one
people
person.
have become comfortable voting for
We're
the
not
lesser of two evils.
No.
We
So
never
what's the
never
answer?
Peter,
Not to
listen
go
to
to
me.
Rome wasn't
We have
built
never
in a
done
day.
in our life. We have never done proactive politics. We've always been reactive. That is a problem.
I agree with you, but
then
brother,
what's the
brother,
answer?
we
November
are
3rd is around the
disagreeing on
corner.
how to overthrow the government. You want us to just go over there and slit throats and take over. That will never happen.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
It's not going to happen.
It can, but here's my
We
first.
are outnumbered.
Here's my first option.
Okay.
Economic warfare. You got to hit people where what they understand, Bob.
I agree, but that has nothing to do with voting.
It has absolutely everything to do with
Economic
voting.
warfare?
Let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
Let's say we had some black elected officials that were worth shit, right?
Mhm.
And
James.
they were able. Okay, save her. Everybody else,
No.
And let's say
more.
let's say they said the 21st of every month, no black person is going to walk through at the store that we decide, right? So the 21st of this month, nobody goes to Walmart. The 21st of next month, nobody steps foot in Stop and Shop.
Right.
No black person.
So they
the next month, do you know what would happen? Police would stop killing us. You know why?
But do we have that much unity within our community?
Okay, that's another story. That's another story. But understand what would happen. The lobbyists, the municipalities that these large stores are located in, they would make sure that they talk to the municipalities and the police chief, and they would be so glad. You know how much we would hurt them just for one day of staying out their store? They would make sure that we're not followed around, we're not disrespected. Anybody that calls the cop, they would get thrown out on their ass immediately.
Right.
You know why? They
you're
cannot survive without our $1.5 trillion consumer dollar.
Peter,
they cannot.
Peter, that's mob style.
Yeah,
reform.
well, okay, and what's wrong with that?
I'm not saying there's nothing bad with it, right? But it's mob style, right? You want change. You saw what Letitia James is bringing to New York State.
Yeah.
That's change.
Yeah,
and she was voted. I voted for her. I checked that box because I said, yes, this person will hold people accountable.
How many of us are gonna get killed in the streets? But before that actually shows some type of movement and momentum.
You can do both.
No, you cannot.
Why can't you hold? Why can't you hold your?
Dying.
Listen,
people are dying. People are protesting.
Why can't you? You're not here. You're not here. Let me say what I gotta say. Why can't you have your Walmart walkout and still vote for Letitia James? Why can't you have both?
Because listen, man.
My point exactly.
Do you understand?
You can have both.
Do you understand that we're protesting people killing us in the streets and we're getting killed in the streets at those protests? Yeah. Do you understand that?
Actually, white people getting killed now.
He didn't care who he was shooting. He didn't.
But what I'm saying is, we're not even protesting.
You're okay with
no. What I'm saying is, we're not even protesting. It's white liberals protesting.
Okay, why?
They've taken up because we won't. We're not protesting the way they are. They're outnumbering us in the streets.
Yeah. Why?
For our cause.
Why? You think it's because they love us?
No, it's because when we go out, we're getting shot.
We don't care enough about our condition.
To
protest. That's the reality of the matter.
Okay.
Those guys that are ready to vote for Trump, they will not 1 minute will protest.
Oh no, they're not. They're not coming out there.
Okay, but so you have but you have the back end story. You have Antifa that's being fueled by George Soros.
Antifa that's a smoke screen. That's a smoke screen.
Are you kidding me?
That's a smoke screen. What are they doing? Where are they at?
They're out. Those are the ones that are taking up our cause, as you say.
That's not Antifa. No. Every white liberal is not Antifa.
There's also that one.
I don't know, but
Every white liberal is not Antifa. No, that is a tool by the Republicans to blame. You see, they use Antifa.
So wait, those white folks that are out in the
further.
street protesting, they're tired of us getting killed. They're
You don't-
tired
you
of
don't
us.
think-
They're
you don't-
tired of gaining benefit and
They're actually
privilege
white
off
people-
of our backs.
They're actually white people like that. Yes, actually, yeah, they
There
are.
are.
I'm not saying there is, but the majority of them aren't
I
there
didn't
for
talk
us.
about the majority.
I
I'm
think
just
the
talking about the
police
ones
are
that are out there protesting.
So there's a
The
big-
majority of them are certainly not
There's a
protesting.
big protest tomorrow in DC. And I forget the name of it. Something it relates to George Floyd and having a knee to our neck. It's a huge protest tomorrow that I am thinking about going to, but I'm still afraid. Like, we have all this going on and people are forgetting about the virus. And I know you say you can't live in fear, but there's a whole discussion line about the fact that the president said to stop testing so that the numbers would be low whenever there's a conversation
He's right.
during the election time. So there's a whole investigation going on. And then
He's right.
Here's the one thing that I'm going to say. So it's off topic, but we were talking about it earlier, the gyms that are opening up. If you look at the amount of backtracking that the system or the people in power are doing in terms of staying safe with the coronavirus, just a few weeks ago when all these white people were outside running and jogging with their mask on, do you remember the CDC issued a statement? You're not supposed to wear a mask when you're exercising and exerting a lot of energy. But the gyms are open, and it's
they
a
want you to wear
mandate
masks
that
too.
you have to wear a face
That's
covering and
insane.
a mask.
This is the politicization
Right, and
of the epidemic, and this is what I'm tired of. And people don't quite understand. You know, you can be on one side of an issue, but not necessarily support Trump. You see what I'm saying? Like, what we do too much is lump people together just because you agree with Trump on that. You're a Trump supporter.
You're a Trump supporter,
No,
right?
no. People, we have to take time to understand the actual complexity of the argument. The problem in this country is there's a lack of leadership. We've lacked direct instruction on how to effectively deal with this virus, and how to live. We do not have a manual. They have not created a system or a guide comprehensive for us to live by.
But I think
that makes sense for everybody.
And you're waiting for them to give you that?
No, but what I'm saying is because of that,
common sense is what our people are going to survive on. Common sense.
What I'm saying is, without a plan, everyone is making up their own story.
But we're making up our own story
to suit their own interests.
But it's because depending on where you live, the story is different. I still fail to understand how you can be in New York City and you can't have inside dining, but I can get in my little Z4, whip it down the Bell Parkway, and go to Long Island less than 45 minutes, and I can sit indoors and
that's what I'm saying. That's the politics of it. And that's what we're tired of. That's why we want a comprehensive. See, that's what I'm saying. We need a system that everyone will sign up for. Right. You can't do this. It's okay for y'all to do that. It's okay. That's how prejudice, racism gets inside these decisions, right? Because they favor one person over another.
Okay, so the mandated policy is going to be void of racism? No, it's still going to. But let me just.
That's the whole point. That for you to have a mandated policy is flushed out. The conversations had that is sanctioned. That this will pass for the general public.
But you're assuming that that's going to be void of what has been the staple of America, which is racism.
Well, we have to end that somewhere.
How, by voting for Biden?
How did you bring voting into COVID? How did you bring voting for Biden into
Listen, Bob.
We're talking
can
about
I
okay?
Can I say something, Bob?
I want to give you.
I've been here nice and quiet.
I want to give you 10 seconds. What do you want Black people to do on November 3rd?
I want them to keep out of I wanted them to keep out of politics because it hasn't worked for us.
You want Black people not to vote?
Yeah, I want us. I want us to deal. I want us to deal with our situation. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. America is a nation, but America is a company. What company? You're a businessman. We're all business people here. If you had your competition started 10 years ago and you just start today, and a year, 2 years down the road, you're bigger, stronger than them. Why would you give up the infrastructure and all those things that the economic structure that gave you that power in such a short time? America is built on our backs.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, we know that.
Right.
There's no reason why a country that is less than 300 years old can be a superpower over dynasties, Japan, China, that have been around thousands and thousands of years. It shouldn't. America is never ever going to relinquish her policies that made her who she is. Doesn't matter if it's Republican, doesn't matter if it's Democrat. So why should we be involved? We need to stand up on our own and stop being the cash cow of this country. The policies will never change. I don't care who you bring on as your vice president.
Peter, are you ready to move out of America?
Yeah. Had it not been for COVID,
are you asking all black people to move out?
No, because we built. I'm not running. We built this. We should never leave this.
Okay, so if we're not, then you're saying America is never going to change for us,
ever.
But we should still stay here and do what exactly?
Take our stand up for ourselves. Take back our self-respect. Arm ourselves. Even Thomas Jefferson said.
So you want us to stay in perpetual war?
Not perpetual war.
All
we have to do is stand up and their game is done. It's not perpetual war. We might not even have to bust a shot if we do the right things. It's not. We have to stop being in fear of we have to get our freedom.
So how do we achieve that? Because you're saying that the millions of black people working towards civil justice in this country are not doing a good enough job.
No, what are we doing? It hasn't changed for 400 years.
So I'm asking you, what are we gonna do? What is the plan?
I told
brother?
you, economic warfare. But then Donnatella brings up a good point. The powers that be that created the system made sure that our unity is like this. And so without unity, there is no coming together and standing up for ourselves.
We barely.
But excuse me there. But with what's happening now, right? It's bringing us to that point where we're people are tired, man. We are tired of seeing our brother lying in the street with his head leaking.
Yes, but
so that's what it takes, and that's why I am not mad at Trump, because he is
where we differ. I understand what you're saying, but I've lost too many people because of Trump.
Absolutely.
What do you mean?
Death. I've lost people
because of the way he handled COVID,
of his policies, and this one. And what you're saying is, this death, this carnage we're watching is igniting something in us. Yes, it is true, but
it's a necessary
also taking
evil.
a heavy toll on our community.
That's what we
and
need.
Our brothers.
That's what we need.
It doesn't have to happen. Well, we don't.
You're a Pan-Africanist. Marcus Garvey said black
listen,
people will not stand up for ourselves until our backs are against the wall. And guess what? Our backs are against the wall.
Our backs have been against the wall
the people that I lost, we're not better off today by their absence. My brother that's not here today, we're not better off because he's gone.
But you're blaming Trump for that.
Absolutely.
I don't understand.
It's very, like I said, the lack of leadership. They knew about this thing since November. They knew about it since December. All he had to do was be an adult.
Yeah, but
he played politics with it.
Yeah, but did you know? Did you know that the COVID relief program CARES, COVID, blah blah blah. Do you know that was signed? That was submitted in January of 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
You're going trying to blame it on who?
Well, I'm saying that this is not.
The actual document, as he's saying, was signed last year. So there was.
So that's even more inexcusable.
Yeah. And I think you both are saying the same thing.
You can't absolve.
How is it? But how is that?
Listen, you can't have it both ways, Peter. You can't say he's enraging us because he's such a fuck up, and at the same time say he's not responsible.
But
you can't have both sides of the argument.
If the government,
he's either responsible for the fuck up.
You're missing my point, Bob.
I am.
If this document was signed in 2019, that means that your senator, your congressman.
No, we're talking about Trump.
No. Who signs these things into legislation? Your congressman, Trump. The people that you vote for.
He likes to sign executive orders. He likes to give pardons. He has an
missing
agenda.
The point, the point is they knew about this so-called
Trump.
they knew about this so-called
But
pandemic.
but they don't get. But they don't get. He does.
Right, so
he's the only one that gets the CIA, FBI, CDC that comes to brief him. Congress can call their people once in a while. Trump gets briefed every day. Okay, so don't compare anyone else to Trump.
Right.
No,
let me ask you something.
You're wrong on that.
Let me ask you a whole different scenario. Okay, so from my perspective, I see that President Trump, and I think I've actually said those two words in my life on this one show. But what if he doesn't respect our civil liberties enough to not use the White House as a backdrop, not have his wife in the Rose Garden, not do the citizenship of the 4 black and brown people that he put up on the stage with? In all honesty, he gave them their citizenship, but he can write a little order tomorrow and take it back. What I'm concerned about is this president doesn't want to go anywhere. This is not his reality show. There's no one to say you can get fired. I am watching him prepare himself to write himself into a 3rd term.
To hang out,
to a 3rd or 4th term. And so if you don't educate people now,
well, Mike Bloomberg did it, y'all. I didn't hear y'all.
No. So I'm aware of that also. But you're not paying attention. He said way before I'm not going to give any argument or pushback to an election November 3rd. He is already setting us up for stealing the election by saying, mail-in votes, terrible. It's not going to work. The Democrats are going to try to steal the election. You got to pay attention to what really is happening. All this other stuff, outside dining, all that other stuff is just diversions. He's dropping little nuggets. Just like I think this next stimulus check that's going to come to the people who are unemployed, it's going to happen sometime. What month is it? August? Sometime September, October, just to tie up the loose ends of all the people who are leaning toward him. And
so this is exactly why I think propaganda and exposing weak-minded blacks to Trump's shit show RNC convention is dangerous, because all they do is give them fodder. He gave them
do you remember why Trump is president?
He signed he pardoned
criminal. Do you remember why Trump? Because Hillary and the DNC conspired to steal the election, the primary from Bernie.
I get that.
Okay, but we're okay with that.
Why are
you undermine stealing the vote?
Why are we okay with that? We're not
compromising
okay with that.
The voting process.
We're not okay with
but you just said, I got that. Like, it's okay.
No, it's not.
He's president because Bernie would have won. And if Bernie was the Democratic he would have beat Trump.
Absolutely.
The reason why Trump won was because a lot of his supporters, a lot of Bernie supporters were very disenfranchised, like Trump supporters, and they wanted nothing to do with Hillary. So when Bernie was lost, the Bernieites a lot of them went over to Trump. That's why he's president. Now you're okay with Hillary doing what she did.
Who said that? That's what we gotta stop saying. We're okay with. We're not. It's just like you say we're okay with Obama. We're not.
I like Obama.
Listen. We don't think in blocks. We have the right to not like whoever we don't want to like. For the record, I'm not a fan of Miss Hillary Clinton. I'm not a fan of Mr. Obama. I'm a fan of Kamala Harris.
Jesus, here we go. What time is it? Here we go.
This is, this is exciting.
I'm not a fan of Joe Biden.
Has to be just
let's move on to the next topic.
What topic do we have? We've already touched on. Let's go back to Jake.
I didn't get to finish my point, but I don't remember.
So
we got to move on.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't remember. All I know is people on November 3rd. I want you to vote. We're not listening to my dear friend Peter Gordon. Brown and black people, please.
What are you getting out of it? It
is your civic duty to vote.
Okay. Let's take that. Okay. Do you know that the Voting Rights Act of 1965 must be re-signed by the sitting president every 40 years?
Is it time for it to be signed by?
No, the first time it came up was 2004 when George Jr. was in office. He signed it without any fanfare. He signed it without any New York Times. He signed it because guess what? They don't want black people to know that their ability to vote is a privilege and
Right.
not a right.
Right.
Now, Obama, who is a constitutional lawyer, who taught constitutional law at Harvard, he knows that's in there. What did he do to get rid of it? Nothing. You want to keep going on in this cycle, and they just give us
No,
these little toys, and then you're
a
sad.
person.
Come
I
on,
believe
man.
there's in a person.
Either
I
we're gonna
do.
get freedom, or
I
we're gonna
believe-
stay
I
fucking
believe-
slaves.
I believe there are better
let
options.
Biden.
Either
Oh,
we're
but-
gonna be free or we're not. There's
But
no
not-
in
But
between.
not voting. Okay, so let's say every black and brown person doesn't go vote
Trump
on
is
November,
reelected.
on November 3rd.
Trump is just
He's gonna be reelected
just-
anyway.
And
He
then
just
what
he
do
just
we
gonna
do
walks
on
in
November
there.
4th?
Biden can't beat Trump.
Yes, he
No,
will.
but what do we do on November 4th? Okay, so
He will. Peter, are you not
Okay.
What
paying
do we do on
attention?
November 4th? We cook
Trump has
out,
a
we come here, we
31%
have some
approval
drinks.
rating. He can't win without
That's
cheating.
your polls.
He cannot win without cheating. Period.
He cheated before.
He cannot
And
win
he-
without
He
cheating.
did not cheat. He used.
He
the,
did
He
cheat.
used the
The
electoral.
Russians
He didn't use that.
rigged
The
the
electoral college
boxes.
is there. Why is the when and why
The
was the electoral college
Russians rigged
created?
the voting machines.
That
That's
is-
why he beat Hillary.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yes,
you really
no, I'm
believe
not
that?
kidding.
That's
I'm not
true.
kidding. I am
Who
not
said
kidding.
that?
The same way you said Hillary rigged Bernie.
But
Are
you
you
agree
kidding?
with that? But you agree with that?
I do exactly. I'm more consistent than you. You're gonna agree with that bullshit, but you won't agree with this bullshit. I'm agreeing with both
We
bullshits.
interfere with the Russians' election. We interfere in China's election. They interfere
do?
in our. Yes,
When did we do
we have
that?
hackers just for that. Okay.
So my
Whoa, whoa,
point
whoa,
is,
whoa,
why
whoa,
do you
whoa,
think
whoa.
Trump
They
beat Hillary by cheating?
He didn't have to.
Of course he did.
She won by almost 3 million
And he cheated
popular votes.
And you're
The
not watching.
electoral college. He doesn't have to.
Peter,
cheat. The
Peter, did
electoral
you go
college,
look at the? Did you go look at the? What do they call those things? The polls, the exit polls.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you go look at the exit polls? Did you see the discrepancies,
He
Peter?
lost. We know he
No,
lost.
Peter. Trump's numbers never added up. His exit poll showed him losing in
That's
most of
it.
those states.
He did lose. What am I?
No, he won
did
every
lose.
single one of the swing states by like this much. That's called cheating. And the exit poll showed that he didn't win those states.
Let's say he
That's how I
did.
got
The system is set
It
up
is the
for that.
truth.
So what? He's not the enemy. The system is the enemy.
He-
We have to
He's
attack.
the enemy.
He definitely is the enemy.
We
course
have
he's
to
the
attack the
enemy.
system.
We attack
He's
the system
the
and
enemy.
him.
Just because Trump is a mob that thinks like a mob that
Right.
wants to go up and blow up the system, he's still part of that stupid ass system.
Let me give you a quick story.
He is still
Let
that
me give you a
system.
quick story. So when that election was going on, right? When I'm out in Westchester, but I keep my voting rights here because there are certain local politicians that I help do their work, right?
Mhm.
So I came down to vote, right? When I was there, they were at my voting district. There were 3 voting machines. A bunch of black people are standing around with these huge envelopes, right? So I didn't pay it no mind. I went to my table, right? I gave them my name. My name isn't there.
Right.
Okay, this is the primary between Bernie and Hillary, right?
Mhm.
Now, when I turned 18, my mother marched me down to the post office
To
and made me
register.
register. Okay, so I'm talking to the lady. I says, "Well, ma'am, why?" So she gives me the same envelope that everybody else is standing around with, right? So she goes, "The only way your vote will be counted today is if you go down to J Street right here, go to the court, get an injunction from a judge, bring it back to me." It was 3:30 at that time, right? That's not happening in Brooklyn
Right,
traffic.
because they close it.
Okay. So she goes. So I says. I says, "Why is my name not here, and why all these people?" She goes, "Because you did not vote in the last 2 big elections." I says, "Miss, are you telling me that for the first black president of the United States, I didn't vote, and all these black people around here didn't vote?" She goes, "Yeah." Okay, so I said, I says, "Well, what do I have to do in order to?" She says, "You're going to have to re-register
Voter
again
suppression.
in order
Yeah.
to vote in the general election." Right. So I already know. I used to work for big politicians out there. I already know who has the grip on that district. Right.
Right.
So I know who that was Clinton power. I knew it right away. And then it came out a couple weeks later that the emails confirmed that she and the DNC conspired. Now, wait, let me finish.
Agreed.
Now, I had no intention of voting, but I went to go look at a property out here, and I happened to be in New York on that day. It was November 8th, my mom's birthday. And I says, you know what? I'm going to take my mom out later. And the first thing out her mouth is,
Did you vote?
Pete, did you vote? And I want to be. So I says, you know what? Let me just go and say, Mommy, I tried. But, right? I went there and I went to the table and guess what?
Your name was there.
My name is there. Okay? That's bullshit. And I'm not, she couldn't get my vote. Now, the same, you think one is better than the other, and I'm telling you, it's not.
Nobody said that.
But you still have
Nobody
to
said that.
I'm not
They're
participating
individuals.
in shit.
They're
not.
individuals. No one said that. Just listen, Peter. What
She
I'm
was
saying
the
is,
biggest catalyst in him becoming president, and now you want
I
me to.
agree with you,
Nah.
but what I'm saying is that people like Bernie exist, and there's a reason why you got out your house to go vote for that man. And what I'm saying is,
because I didn't want to face my mommy.
We can't give up. We can't give up that hope that there will be people out there that we need to vote for.
I think black people need to pull out from the system, and that's my thought.
I just think
this is why we have a great show,
we need
because
better candidates. I think we
and
need
that's
better
why I'm
candidates.
in the middle. And again, people, please go vote on November.
But you know
3rd.
what it is, this is the thing. You see, you got to pay attention to people as they're plotting their political career. Don't enable guys that you don't understand what they are about. You don't understand what they're voting for. You don't understand what their platforms are. And we get these guys like look at the lieutenant governor of Kentucky now that won't arrest those cops in Breonna Taylor's situation.
Oh,
He's people probably helped this guy get to where he was, not
Right.
knowing his true views. And now he's
how
there.
do
You
feel?
can't do nothing.
Right.
You can't do
but
nothing.
me now, I wouldn't feel a way about it because I know I didn't vote for his ass. So I mean, I listen. I don't know, folks.
Listen. I think voting is important, and what we should do as a people is allow each other the space and not intimidate each other on our beliefs, as long as they are for getting rid of Trump.
Yes.
I think we should support each other.
Our ancestors did not die for us to vote. Our ancestors died because they thought that it was going to bring us up like it did every other group. If they knew that in 2020 we were still begging them not to kill us in the street, they wouldn't encourage that. They would have never encouraged voting.
Let me explain another reason why voting matters. If we had the Senate, we would have impeached Donald Trump.
Right.
This would have never happened. We didn't have the Senate,
So
it's not just
you're
the presidency.
depending on the system.
What I'm saying is, on every level, you have to vote.
Yeah.
We own. Imagine if we didn't have the Congress, he would have ran roughshod over the Constitution. He would have been elected for 8 till he died. He would have been.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's why it's
that
so
is what
important
he's trying to do, though.
that we
He still might be here till he dies.
we had at least Congress. Now we got to get the Senate. See, look, even if he wins and we have the Senate, he's cooked. He won't go 2 days without investigation, and they will fry his ass. So
You're still waiting on the system to save you.
Listen,
and
we're not waiting on nothing.
It will never.
No, it's called
it's not going
being
to save you
proactive.
if
You gotta chew gum and walk. You live your life. You do what you gotta do, but you still maintain your civic duty. That is our civic duty. For nothing else. That is our civic duty. That is our duty
A reactive
to
vote
this
is
society.
useless.
It's not reactive.
A reactive
We are
vote
voting
is
for
useless.
people that we want in there. I vote, like I said, I voted for Letitia James
I did too.
because
I voted for you.
I believed in her. And she's providing dividends. And there's no greater feeling. Because you're like, you know what? That's my vote at work.
I dig her.
Yeah.
I do.
So we need to get more people like her in those positions.
And you can't do that if you're not voting at the local
And they'll
level.
start. Well, yeah, you're right. And probably by the year 2090, they'll stop killing us in the street.
No, you can vote and still take these other proactive measures. But, I'm going to tell you something. We're talking about all the
Peter,
chaos
I need
going
to
over
get
there.
someone that thinks like you on here to support your movement. So y'all can really
So it's 2 and 2.
so it can really radiate this shit y'all talking about.
But, as we
We're
kind
like,
of gather to
don't
close
vote.
out.
Blow the system up. Like we need to. Okay, I want to hear more of it.
There's a lot of people
Because
that think like me, bro.
I know
Don't
that.
think I'm the
That's
only
why I
one
said
sitting
we
here.
need to get. I know a few.
I can go
need
out
to
there
get
right
one.
now
I
and
know.
grab a
I need to
couple
sit
white
them.
folks.
Listen, I need to sit over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they think
I need
like
to sit here, and we go to town.
Well, I just
Listen,
wanna, I
my
wanna
biggest
say,
ally, I don't mean to cut you, but
Yeah.
my biggest ally, my way of thinking is those rednecks, good old boys. You know what? The worst, the more than they hate Negroes, more than they hate Jews, they hate government telling them what to do.
yeah, and taking
They-
their guns.
They ain't taking it. They hate government telling them what to do. And so there is some common ground there. If we could ever stop the bullshit with each other,
But
we can
they
get some
hate
shit
us
done.
too much.
They hate us more.
They hate us just by looking at us. They hate us. They are fearful of us.
Right. That's fear. That's not
They
hate.
really like.
That's both.
That's fear.
They are afraid. They're intimidated.
That's fear manifesting
They're
itself as hate.
intimidated. They're envious.
They
There's a
should
lot
be.
of reasons.
Yeah, they should be.
You know, look, they got a 400-yard year head start, and we caught up.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're not caught up. Nowhere near
In
caught
their
up.
mind.
In their
they
mind.
know.
In their minds.
They
yes.
see it.
You know,
You know,
we're talking about
they
a
saw
lot
a
of
black
global
president. That's catching up.
That's what's killing them. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
catching up.
Mhm.
The fact that a black man, a descendant of a slave, rose up to become president in their own, what they think is their country, that was catching up to them. And they,
Well, he's descendant of free
extremely-
Africans. He's not. He doesn't have that slave
in their
blood.
mind. In their mind, I'm
Right.
talking about
Right. In their mind.
in
Right.
their mind. You know, and they can't get over that.
Yeah.
They're angry.
Yeah. They're still
They
pissed.
think he's a product of socialism.
Yeah.
They love socialism. While all of them on welfare, socialism.
That's a fact.
They all on Medicaid,
That's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
yeah.
they're the most socialism you will ever find. You know? So, I mean, what are we gonna do as black people? I believe
We're gonna vote, right?
We are going to vote.
I believe, yes, we should vote. I believe also black people, we need our own agenda. You know,
need
there are a
more
lot of
community.
Pan-Africanist groups trying to create movements. They need to be supported by the average black person. What the problem is, the average black person has no interest in Pan-Africanism.
Right.
They don't have the
Right.
they don't have the patience. They don't have it on their radar. They don't have the interest. And these are the movements that really have thought about our liberation and how we get there, about how we're going to invest, about how we're going to move, about these are the people that sit there and put together 10, 20-year plans, not just winging it. These people need support. These communities
I
need
have
support.
kids. I have grandkids. I don't have 20 years to see if they're gonna
Let me-
die like a dog. I
Peter,
don't have it.
let me explain one thing. In America, everything requires planning. Everything they're doing today, they had a plan for it.
Right.
Which is why the document
that
was
means-
signed last January.
And they work,
2019.
and they work.
But that
towards
also
it.
means that
They
whatever
work
we can come up
towards
with
it.
and whoever we can vote for, they already have an answer to nullify that.
No,
Maybe.
they could try,
Maybe this country
could
does
try.
things 50, 100 years in advance.
but we got to have a plan too. We can't keep just being here in the now, here in the moment. What we're gonna do right now? We
so
can't be
we'll
reactionary.
just be pinned for our vote,
We
and
have
we'll
to
just
have
sit
a
No,
around.
no. We
Let's
need
have a plan.
and we need to do more things locally. In this last weekend, I think there were more than 50 shootings in New York City, multiple deaths. We're talking about things that are happening around the world.
Let me
And-
tell you
and
something.
this person
Pan-Africanists don't shoot each other.
Yeah, I almost
They
said
don't.
something. I know. I was
You know, when you have true love of self, when you have a true love for your people, you don't do that.
but they do other things.
What,
Well-
cheat on their wives? That's what you're gonna say?
No, I was gonna say something real silly like poison and darts and all kinds of yeah.
That's some
I-
racist. That's some racist shit.
No,
Pan-Africans,
listen,
are African Americans, you know.
I
I'm not
went
talking about Africans.
I
Africans
went to
aren't even
Nigeria
Pan-Africanists.
last
Africans are
November.
Europeans.
Right.
Okay, I don't know.
All right. So where do you go with that? Because
That's
even,
what I'm
even
saying.
we're talking
That's
about
who I- that's
America.
who- exactly.
The problem is
We are live inside Amarachi Restaurant. All right. Make sure you stop by and visit us.
Tip her.
Absolutely.
right? The problem is global. Black people need to stand up for ourselves on a whole, and we're not going to do it with that system.
What system?
The system that is set up for us here in caught up in the diaspora of Africa and Africans on the continent. It ain't gonna happen.
There's still a big disconnect.
Part of the confusion of what's going on now is because they saw what happened last year in the year of return in Ghana, and they know that once the Africa and African Americans get together like this,
they disrupted
their
the
game
movement.
is over, bro.
They disrupted the movement.
Yeah.
They disrupt, but it's gonna continue. You can't stop it. It's not gonna stop because more people are awake. And like I said, the black people are the most important piece of the wheel. Wherever black folks pivot, that's where the movement's gonna go. Right. And if black people start pivoting to Africa and start bringing that wealth to Africa, that money,
so if you
establishing those relationships, understand that, growing those economies, that's the future.
But if you understand that, Bob, and you
without
know that
police shootings,
right? But if you understand that black people are the most important cog in that wheel, why now should we dilute it by voting? Why should we dilute it by investing?
Could vote while you're doing that.
Why should we invest in the system?
No, it doesn't cost you nothing. It doesn't cost you nothing to vote.
You can do mail-in voting.
It's just you're still here. Your civic duty. You can still do that while still having a plan.
I'm gonna stay home and watch reruns of Soul Train. I don't give a fuck. Y'all do what y'all do. Cheers. All right.
And this is why I love this group. You know, I think next week, as much as I have a whole bunch of friends that I would like to bring to the show, I feel like we need
we need to do this because guess what? In a week, in 7 days, right? You see what happened out there? You see what's about to happen in DC in 7 days?
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be crazy. If we can get down the street to come, I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy. People are tired, Bob, and their heroes. Their heroes are now standing up. They're heroes that they have their posters on with the 23, and they're standing up, and so that's going to have a ripple effect, and it's about to be live.
This is what I'm worried about, and this is why I say these things are planned. I don't think it's a coincidence that the week of the RNC we have another police shooting.
Well, because every time there's something that he does, they're shooting. They shoot us every time.
And they blow that dog whistle. Yeah. What we see? What wasn't happening? And this is what I say. You got to keep. You got it now. You just got to keep pushing. You see, the during George Floyd, they didn't really run with the whole undercover Republicans are the ones setting fire to. Did. I'm saying the national media. Didn't really run with that story. They may have shown you clips, but they did not. This morning, to hear Chuck Todd yesterday, talk about that 17-year-old kid. You see, before they kept ignoring it. You know, the fact that we have this terrorism going on in America by the far right. They're killing. So now it's not going to be so easy for them to infiltrate because that was their plan. Their plan was, listen, let's start these riots and we go in there undercover and we're shooting up people.
Okay,
did you see?
Did you see the video where the police that were there trying to monitor the crowd came up to the armed protesters, right, and says to them, We're going to move. We're going to push them up by you because y'all can handle them. We can't.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So the police system are looking at them as a resource, as backup, and ally. But what do you do with that?
But do you think
and this is what I said. This is
planned. But do you think that's because of the big initiative where we said defund the police, F the police? Today, I was riding up Flatbush Avenue. There was a black man. I couldn't tell how young he was, but he was in a souped up car with customized back seat, all speakers. And I had not heard this song in so long. He was playing NWA Fuck the Police. He had on a mask and tinted windows. I could just see the white rim around the mask. And I'm looking at him as he drove past me, and I'm saying, oh my God, I hope they don't kill him. Because he literally had speakers in his windows and he was driving and people were stopping and listening, and he was stopping in the middle of the street. And in my head, I was saying, I wonder if he has like a machine gun. That's like a black person who's just had enough, who's just so tired, and he's driving up and down. I have it on my Snapchat.
And they're waiting for that. They're waiting for that combustible situation where black men, and we've had it in the past. We remember the DC shooters. We've had it where, people get triggered.
I don't believe that either.
I know, but I'm just saying, People can get triggered, and all it takes is or look, what about the ex cop in California that was killing cops?
Yeah.
Remember in the
Yep,
woods,
yep.
all it takes is for us, to start doing that, and then
You guys are trying to prolong the inevitable. Okay,
I'm saying
blood.
it's avoidable.
There's gonna be blood in these streets, and voting and what is never going to stop it. What has to happen has to happen. People are fed up.
Well,
let's get it going.
Well, we can't afford fires here in New York.
I just can't.
Let's get it going.
I just can't accept more death.
Well, you're in a bad space because that's where we are in America.
Yeah, but there are also a great deal of deaths that are happening that have nothing to do with the RNC or with crime.
Let me tell you how terrible it is. I try to stay out of New York as much as possible now because these deaths are so random.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know how many people say, "Oh, I got shot. It was a random bullet. I got shot."
There's no such thing as that many.
But it's too much.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be driving around in these streets and God forbid get shot.
Yeah.
It's too much, and that's what I'm saying. We got once it's over, man. And that's why I'm saying I'm hoping there are things we can do so it doesn't get to that level.
It has to, Bob, and you should, as a black man, you should want it to. It has to.
Not if I don't see a way.
These people are not Peter, going to relinquish their privilege.
They outnumber us, and they have way more weapons than we do.
Yeah. Okay. Do they have a connection to the universe? Do they have ancestors waiting? Do they have the angst of?
I'll go. Listen, if I'm gonna go on that, if I'm gonna go on that level and invoke my African
you gotta invoke your spirituality.
I will go back to Africa and just park my ass there.
Listen,
what does that mean exactly?
It means so if you take the Haitian Revolution, right? Mm-hmm. They defeated the Spanish army, they defeated the English army, they defeated the French army. These were the three superpowers of that day. This is like Jamaica defeating Japan. Okay, how did they do it? Dutty Bookman, you know this name. Dessalines, right? These are people that invoke their ancestors, the spirit of the energy of the universe. No, if we pick up a gun and go gun to gun, I can't afford bullets. You know how much bullets are? Okay, but I can invoke my ancestors that feel the angst that they felt when they were being murdered in the streets. Okay, and that's where we are. Well, but we don't know who we are. We don't know our strength. We don't know our power. Peter, and so we feel that voting is our strength.
Christianity and Islam block
that
whole idea.
And politics.
Christianity and Islam will not allow the African to unleash his power.
Fact.
Because guess what? We've been taught that it's devilish. It's
fact.
That's why Beyonce got in trouble with the.
She ain't got in trouble. She ain't in trouble with no
right.
That's African horn. But
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. We are our own worst enemy.
Yes.
Because the oppressor has taught us and made us believe in his system.
Right.
That will
that's
always
all I'm saying.
Dominate.
How do we go through all of that and then we come back to all of it? That's what I'm saying.
That's facts.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the fact.
So, but when you say vote, you're saying, well, let's leverage our power, and then we can still engage in the system. You can't do both.
I can invoke a Babalawo, and I can still vote.
You do that. I like to see it. You do it.
It's very easy.
You do it.
It's very easy.
I don't want no part of it.
But we have to give Babalawos a lane. They have to be able to come out freely and not be demonized and ostracized by people that
they're always going to be demonized because why do we care if they're being demonized? We have to embrace our ancestors. We have to feed them. We have to say thank you. We have to talk to them. We have to give thanks.
But you see, this is where common sense evades me. Someone tells you should not revere your ancestors. Just think of the common sense of that.
Right.
Yes, they do.
No one's ever said that to me.
By giving you Jesus Christ, that's exactly what they're saying.
Well, if I grew up under Jesus Christ and I don't know anything,
no, they're telling you your ancestors, forget them. You can't. They don't exist. There's no such thing.
Mm-hmm. They're evil. Udun is evil.
If you pray to your ancestors, you are idol worshiping.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I'm saying. They make you hate your own self.
Right.
Just think about yourself having offspring 3 generations down the line. When you're now an ancestor, you're now that kid is now thinking of you as a demon.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
That is what we have done to our people and our ancestors.
Yes.
We've demonized them. And then we wonder why things are not working out for us.
Wow.
Then great grandfather identifies as a Negro. Your grandfather identifies as a colored. Your father identifies as a
African.
and then you identify. So if you have no common thread of who you even identify with, how can you pass anything along? How can you build that bond of ancestorship? You see the bullshit?
Well. It was white. It was Caucasian. Was it?
No. I mean, no.
But what I'm saying, they have unifiers. We don't have unifiers.
We don't have that.
They can always go to the Catholic Church.
Correct.
They can always go to the Anglo-Saxon, whatever.
Right.
We don't have that. We it's like I want to throw up sometimes when I watch our jet black man with his bishop hat and talking about things that are
I can't anymore.
Nothing to do with Africa. Nothing.
I can't anymore.
Talking about places and things that have nothing to do with his people
and even
starving.
Even the judicial system, you see the wigs, the blonde curly wigs. It's disgusting.
And we talk about self-hatred, and we don't see what the problem is. We don't see we don't like each other. Right. We don't see we're taught to hate each other. We don't see it. And we wonder why there's corruption. Mm-hmm. We wonder why we embezzle. We wonder why we run to Europe.
Yep.
Ooh, this is very stimulating. I feel like we could talk forever, but because I know that it is now going on, I don't have on my reading glasses. Minutes to 8, I guess.
Time is woke up people is a construct of the mind. It ain't real.
I can't. I'm not coming next week. I can't.
Yes, you are.
Don't worry about time. Wait, y'all got to go. Time is not real.
I can't with y'all.
The uploading is hard, so we got to dice this.
They can stay here all night. Be my guest. Get a drink.
But not inside. Thank you.
I said I'm going to get a drink.
Okay, so this was excellent. Are there any points, any foreshadowing we think we could see what's going to happen? I wish I knew the name of this march that's happening in DC. Today is Thursday, right?
Listen. Yeah, I'm not a big advocate of that because, like I said, this is part of their planning. They want us to be out in these streets protesting and burning. This is what he wants to use to fuel his base to the polls.
I get that. I get.
I'm like,
that.
So he thought this is Trump thought this up, right?
Well, I don't know.
Yes,
I can't remember.
It's planned.
I can't remember the name of it.
You see how they do their white thing? They plan all of it.
Yeah, but not him. He's not a political insider. We discussed that before. He puts
all of them in place.
One thing. Oh! Thanks for that. I just saw this ban. Did you see that the chokehold ban in New York has been revised?
Of course.
They
of course. I
didn't see that, but of course I knew it.
Come on, of course.
No, so
the shootings are not going to go down until they take the chokehold ban away, and all of a sudden we're going to go back to like.
So there's the whole thing that they are no longer
there's these people are very upset.
I believe that. So they revised the chokehold ban yesterday to say that now it's not. Before it was completely no pressing on anyone's diaphragm, right? Now there's no unauthorized pressing.
So you got to get.
They have to if they felt it was necessary.
Yeah,
now
then they can do
now
it.
It's now subjugative again.
Yeah.
So it's
all back to I thought he was going to kill me, so I did it. That changed yesterday.
That's why you does voting help that?
How does voting help?
Because they're always going to get back to the point where they're going to be able to oppress and kill black people. They're always going to get back to that point.
But Blasio is not surrounded by strong enough people in his party. He let these conservatives and police union bully him into agreeing into this.
Right. right.
I mean, these people are angry over the fact that they don't get the right to just kill black people at will.
Right.
They are angry,
Right.
like frustrated.
But these are police. This is all over the nation.
It's like that's the only thing that policing is
They're-
killing black
They
people.
started handing in their guns and their badges because they couldn't kill us without being
No,
checked.
but then on top of that, what I think people didn't realize, they're resigning in their district and going to other areas
Right.
and getting a job.
Right.
So it's not the same thing, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Okay, whatever it is, but you know what I think they should do if we talk about reform? Ask
Get insured.
these killings.
You mean before
What
you
they
hire
did?
them, or what do you mean?
No, while they're and you fire everyone that doesn't have a problem with it.
Then they're gonna lie. 'Cause
That's like
everybody
voting.
likes
No,
a
no,
pension.
no.
That's as useless as
They are
voting.
prideful. They are prideful. Believe me.
You think they'll be honest?
The ones that like
absolutely. They will be honest, and
Well, I think
and
those
you
are the people
start
who
there.
walked off the
You
floor.
get that's what it's simple. Simple questionnaire. You take what happened the other day and say, do you think this guy is justified in shooting
Okay,
him?
so that
Yes or no?
no. So that
If you answer yes, you get
no,
fired.
no. So that's what I wanted to come back to. If you're watching it, right? The shooting of Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake.
Earlier, you posed the question and you said, how could there be two sides? And so, playing devil's advocate, I said, to me, the shooting seems utterly ridiculous. But if you're putting yourself in the place of that officer, so now today they said that he was near a knife as he was walking.
He didn't know what the hell was in the man's car.
No. Oh, the knife was in the car.
It was in his car.
But here's just what I'm saying, right? If you are going back to your car and you have police following you, the policeman could very well say, I have no idea what he's going for in his car. I didn't know there were four little boys in the
that
car.
won't fly.
But he could have had a gun.
It doesn't matter. He didn't. He didn't have a gun.
But
You can't say just because he walks away to his car, he could have had something there to kill me with. No, you actually have to have something,
right? But I
and
thought
point it
I
and try to use
I
it.
thought the law that they always argue when these people do these shootings and they don't end up getting indicted and they don't go to jail is that the police officer had reasonable right to fear for his life. So
they're going to be able to prove. They're going to be able to prove that.
Around. Have you seen the videos with a white man chasing the police people around?
Yeah,
with daggers, with guns, with socks, with shoes,
but they're not scared of white people.
with guns.
But they're not scared of white people.
They're literally running around,
Right.
running around.
I'm just talking about, for argument's sake, that is what the cop is going
Yeah.
to say. I had kept telling him to stop. I told him not to go. This is what I meant to say. I even pulled him to try to get him away from whatever it was he was reaching for. And my reaction out of fear.
And to keep it real, Bub, if you got some beef out here on these streets and you're engaged in confrontation and somebody runs to their car, you do not let them get to their car. You know that.
Some black on black stuff.
Yeah.
And that's my point.
They don't know that. They're not black.
Listen, I got shit to do next week. I can't make it.
I know. Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone for being with us today.
Great show.
Yeah, I had a great time. Did you have a great time, Bob?
I don't know. Peter was off today.
No,
I had a couple of drinks while I was waiting for y'all to take the first.
Yeah,
that's what it was. But I love him to death. You better be here next week talking about.
I'll be here.
I got nobody to fight. If you're not here, I'll run roughshod over Donnatella.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for episode 4. We look forward to seeing you next week. Make sure that if you're on YouTube, you like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Same thing on Facebook.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good show.
Okay. Can you tell me when you turn off the mic? Oh, it's still on?
I love our